Memories, stories, we all have them. Are your stories, family history, and legacy too important to let slip away? Wouldn't it be important to you and your loved ones to preserve your dreams, your frustrations, your triumphs, and even your accomplishments? Can these memories become an important and memorable legacy to younger generations and beyond? Can important family life events be recounted in a simple, enjoyable, but fascinating family video history? Hello, my name is attorney Ramsey Bahrawy, and welcome to Your Money, Your Life. In this segment called Video Memoirs, my guest is Susan Saunders, the owner of Family Line Studios. A skilled videographer, editor, and interviewer, Ms. Saunders helps individuals and families preserve life stories, family history, and legacies for future generations through video memoirs and family documentaries. Susan, welcome to Your Money, Your Life. It's great to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit how that interview process works and what you're trying to accomplish through the interview.
When I interview, let's say, an individual for a video biography or video memoir, I run through their life story, but I usually start with bringing them back to their very early years. And while it's a chronological interview, I really try to move in depth as much as I can, and also to ask them about the people in their lives that were important to them as they were growing up. And these are usually family members, relatives. So the viewer, the audience, gets to know the family on a larger scale, and actually the family history, because oftentimes it was the grandparents who were involved with their lives. Then as we sort of move our way through their life, I ask them sensory-related questions, which helps to put them back into the moment. So while I may ask very direct questions initially, I expand on that, and then they start to share their stories. And those are the moments that end up in the interviews, the ones where they're talking without regard to what the question was. And those are the wonderful stories that come out.
So when you pull these wonderful stories out, are you looking for particular things, like maybe something that's emotional or something that shows that individual's feelings towards something, so that you can actually, anybody can put something historical together, right? But you also want to put some of the personal touch in there.
Yeah, when you interview someone for 3 hours, and that's usually how long the interview takes, maybe a little less, a little bit more, a lot comes out, and you develop a sense of what's important to them and what's impacted on them. And so you, as you're editing the 3 hours, you find the common threads, and you reveal those threads to the audience. You also have a sense, because prior to the interview, you do ask them, are there things that are important to you to touch on? Are there things that we should avoid? But even with knowing those landmines or the things that you do want to highlight, a lot more is revealed, and you do look for the facial cues and the intonations that help the viewer understand these are important things to that subject.
So before you do the interview, you actually sit and talk with the client, and you kind of try to make a determination as to what you think may be important in the interview?
It's it's generally a brief phone call, or maybe, a half hour or so, because I don't want to get too much information. I just want the names of family members. I would need to know important events in that person's life that I'll be interviewing, and then the topics to avoid and the topics that are important. If I have too much information, it tends to create too much structure in the interview, and I try and keep it as open as possible.
What sort of topics do people generally want to avoid?
That varies. It could be anything from a family member they don't care for, to a very difficult experience. Everyone is different, but and I always give the family or the client an opportunity to review the movie before the final edit. So if there is anything that I missed that I shouldn't have in there, they can always take it out, and I've never had that happen.
Well, let me follow up on that. What's to stop somebody from actually doing a little bit of a makeover of their life through this video?
That's their prerogative.
That's their prerogative. Okay. All right. I'm just curious, because you could do that, right?
You could.
It's revisionist history. You could go back and change some things.
What I do try and tell people, though, and there have been studies that show that sharing even the most difficult times in your life is beneficial for your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, because it shows that it gives them a sense of a larger picture and the ability to fail, but also to rise above it. So I haven't had anyone, and maybe that's the reason, maybe they recognize that, you know, life is part of failure and overcoming failure.
Right. I would think people would also want to express their disappointment. If there's been a disappointment in the family or a disappointment in their life, they probably want to express that and how they feel about it. It's a good place for us to stop.
Okay.
Life happens. You create memories. Everyone has a story to tell. Stories that are too important to simply let slip away. Today we learned that important life events can be preserved for future generations. We also learned that video biographies will capture your stories in enduring video memoirs for future generations to know, enjoy, and share. If you're anything like I am, you'll want to share the details of your important family life events in a simple, enjoyable, but fascinating family video history that brings your story to life. A video biography or family documentary that captures personality, nuance, and voice, thereby connecting generations on a more personal level. It is this personal touch that your loved ones will truly treasure as a modern-day heirloom. I encourage you to learn more about this intriguing concept by visiting FamilyLineStudios.com and check out their About tab to learn how your memories can be converted into a moving video portrait that includes an in-depth yet sensitive interview. In closing, I'd like to thank my guest, Susan Saunders, founder of Family Line Studios, LLC, for her participation on this program. Susan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And as always, thank you to you, our viewers, for watching Your Money, Your Life. My name is Attorney Ramsey Bahrawy, building your trust.